What up, y'all? We are back with another episode of the Axe Mode podcast. This is episode 4, sponsored by East Van Wear and Tattoo Company, Sean Crutch, and Knowability. My name is YT Rams. I'm joining you from Terrace, BC, Canada, and I'm always with my co-host,
Mr. East from Fox Cities, Wisconsin. How y'all doing today? We got a great show ahead of you. Ahead of the day for you guys.
Yeah. So we've got a special guest with us today. We've got Knowledge joining us later. But first, we wanted to kick it off with a brand new cipher from Grind Mode Cypher, Upstate Underground Volume 16. Mr. East, why don't you let the people know who is on this cipher?
All right. So it's produced by AMC Beats. We got Knowledge, Friday Goodish, K-Twist. I always get this name wrong. Days the Prophet.
Details the Prophet.
Details the Prophet. Yeah. T.Y. Banks.
Yeah. So let's get right into it. Produced by AMC Beats. Shout out to Lingo and AO Mode Cypher for allowing this show to be what it is today. This is Upstate Underground, Volume 16, right here on the Axe Mode Podcast.
Grind Mode Cypher, Upstate Underground. Let's go.
AMC and GME together, yeah, you read it right. Don't need a band bump stock for me to get it hype. Got a short fuse, all I need's a little light. Find a decent match to throw at me and see this shit ignite. You never did it right, all the war, Sun Tzu. Inherent air, but it's apparent that I sunned you. Never could control Z, I don't undo. There's no shortcut to the keys that I want, fool. So we run through trees, let me keep it a buck. All dough gets bagged, deer season or not. And anybody try to jerk me can get smoked. Left drying out in the sun with a slit throat. Bitch, kiss my ass, no need for mistletoe. We light trees and let it snow, no Christmas show. Since a youngin' getting money, no business clothes. Dropped out of school but graduated from detention though.
Raw shit ain't laced with the garbage. For all the whack rappers that been making me nauseous, bring a blade to the harvest. The snakes in the garden better run like Tom Hanks when he was playing retarded. Want smoke, suck a muffler, straight up exhausted. All gas, no brakes, racing a Honda. I'm from upstate, but I came from the bottom. I'm talking about my date with your mama. Somewhere by the lake, 518 I was watching. I'll be underground, upstate, until I'm placed in a coffin. Hate to be honest, but I son rappers around the world. Nowadays I gotta write with my wang in a condom. They probably saying dang from the place that they watching. After this verse, find them strangled hanging in closets. Just another day at the office. Be lame? I'd rather cut my face, jump in a tank with piranhas.
The way I riddle these thoughts, I define Twitter. I punch lines in divine ways and the rhyme lingers. The 5 fingers ain't no more of a threat than my next breath. Your next guess, no more than a jest. It's straight from the chest. Enough stress straight to your neck to separate your vertebrae if you trying to test. Am I under arrest? You need a gun and a vest? And that's just the block shots I sent through text. I might send you next. Pop up then suplex. I'm the dodo that don't flew up out the cuckoo nest. Count Dooku rep, I keep my stars in check. My horoscope a horror show, it might get gory again. You wanna know if you survive? Survive to the end. I don't think you understand the type of story you're in. Cause the second twist spits, he can towards it again. The walls bend, the drugs kick in, the verse ends.
We in the cut, my crew sick. And it's a staph infection. Offensive line, shotgun behind pass projections. More bars than my past defenses. Fix my mistakes, turn the page. Now I'm looking past corrections. Upstate with duct tape. Razors in my pants scene. Underground rappers getting buried till they can't breathe. Bronx Tales, you heard my last cipher. Should have plan B. Sunny with the bars, get it locked. Now you can't leave. Shots pass your body parts under your armor. Shells roll over the table, napkins covered with lobsters. Faithfully departed mobsters leave his chest with a flower. I'm the boss, got the sauce, jalapeno vodka. Godfather pop horror, bitch. You could kiss a different ring. Snap like Bob back doing cross-face chicken wing. Knuckles scarred up to my arms, look like I'm fighting with pits. Hyping I'm lit lightning mixed with Viking and scripts.
Usually on these ciphers, I set fire like an arsonist. I tried to come up with some bars, but it was hard as shit. Cause Baron's gone and I don't believe the thought of it. When he was on my ciphers, they was always lit. And I just want to take the time to say I'm sorry, Grizz. I know that none of us is taking it as hard as him. Each of us is hurting even if we all pretend. I'm sorry I ain't spazzing out, but I just lost a friend. Man, these ciphers ain't been feeling right. Knowing Baron isn't in the background getting hyped. He kept a hood like none. It got me sitting trying to figure why the good die young. I did it that for you before I spit these lines. And low-key I've been cheesing just knowing the Baron gets to fly. I know we came here for rhyming, but I just need a moment of silence for Thomas.
Hell yeah, Grind Mode Cypher, Upstate Underground, Volume 16, produced by AMC Beats. Make sure to head over to that YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, and hit the bell right next to it so you can get notified every time the Grind Mode Cypher drops brand new content on y'all. Mr. East, what'd you think? It had like a very stadium vibe type beat, eh?
Yeah, no, it was definitely a vibe that felt familiar for sure. First I want to say RIP to the Baron. Like, I know that hit a lot of people. I was just getting into like getting to know more of him when the news came. So, you know, to all you out there who've been affected by his passing, you know, in a deep way, my condolences to you guys. But back to the Cypher part. This is what I love about Grind Mode. You got different flows, different varieties of topics, and just a universal flex in hip-hop. And I really do enjoy that about Grind Mode every time. I don't care about what people say in the long run, but to me, like, the long run effect is that Grind Mode always comes with that unity factor, and it shows not just one way. It shows that hip-hop branches out like a tree, and I enjoy that. It's badass, as always. K-Twist, I like the ending on that. And, of course, knowledge is always comes correct on a Cypher. Always enjoyed when I catch knowledge on a Cypher, actually. Ever since I heard him on the Friday Night Showdown. Actually, that's when I started really noticing him.
Hell yeah. If y'all don't know, Knowledge was the very first winner of the Friday Night Showdown show that AOK was running. And we hope that returns very soon. We will see a return to the Friday Night Show very soon. And without further ado, the man himself who opened up Upstate Underground Volume 16, we've got Knowledge with us. What's going on, fam?
Yo, what up?
What up? How you doing today?
Good, man. And you guys?
We're doing fantastic.
Appreciate you getting me on the podcast, man, and like what you guys are doing.
Appreciate you being on here.
Yeah, we appreciate you reaching out and hopping on with us today. So you've been on a bunch of Grind Mode Cyphers this year. You know, as we just heard, we got Upstate Underground Volume 16. You've been on Tour for Life Volume 4, and you were on Soda City Volume 2 with your label mate, correct?
Yeah, definitely. That was actually his LJ Heist. That was his first cypher with Grind Mode. He primarily does battle rap, so he usually doesn't have time to do cypher verses and stuff. He saves a lot of his bars for battle rap, and then for the mixtapes and albums that we drop under Rebelz Advakit. But yeah, man, this year, you know, after being stuck in the house and no traveling and stuff in 2020, really for a lot of the COVID trash, as soon as they had, I think the first series they did this year was in January in Jacksonville, and we went down to that one, and Heist traveled down there with us, and we partied with Grind Mode and stuff, and that's when he got the bug in his ear and got the itch that he wanted to hop on one of the next series. And then you're right, man, there's been a lot of series from January through now that we hit up. Usually Mischief hitting those with us almost every time too. And then another cat that's local that's coming up with us in you know, in our circle, 3XG Spitz. He got his first ciphers out of the way. Also in the Soda City, Columbia ciphers and the Ash Jam ciphers in North Carolina. So they got and that was the same trip cipher series, but just in 2 states. And then I did we did Brooklyn. I got another Maryland native, Mr. 118, to get on Brooklyn ciphers. And then after that, he traveled down to Dallas and did the Dallas and Smokelahoma joints with me. So I've been trying to get a little bit more people from the area involved in what's going on, because you know, Grind Mode's been at it for a while, and the numbers that they're doing now per cipher is ridiculous compared to like when I first did my first cypher with them. So, you know, salute to those guys. So A-OK, everything they're doing during the pandemic. You know, like you guys mentioned, they did the Friday night showdown, the Sunday night grind show reactions, and they really kept the community of artists involved in you know, keeping in touch with the circle of people that they don't live around, by coming up with creative ways to keep the flow going while you know, the mandates and stuff were keeping shit shut down.
Yeah. And, you know, once again, if you guys are an artist out there, make sure to get your music into the Sunday night grind. It's a great opportunity for you to get exposure. And as you've heard, Knowledge has been on there. 3XG's been on there. Everybody's on there. We got to know Sean Crutch from there. It's a great opportunity. So send your music into sundaynightgrind@gmail.com and get your music played.
Yeah. And another thing, man, that, you know, with that network, you know, I came up in a local music scene where when the scene was, I would call it really buzzing or really hot, and then in the forefront of everybody's mind, like a lot of the people in the area were involved with each other, linking up, doing collaborations, trying to do, you know, different stuff, working together. But over time, sometimes that fizzles out and people have family things come up, or, you know, different things, jobs, they move. And these things keep some of that core group of people from doing music. But what I noticed with the cats in Grind Mode is that, you know, there's always a fountain of artists that are constantly trying to work. They're constantly trying to do collaborations. They're trying to do videos. They're trying to just do different stuff. And, you know, so when your core group of people that you might want to stick with because you grew up with them, or you're from the same area and you guys have the same mission or whatever, you know, sometimes it's good to have a break and really just deal with some people who are super focused on what they're doing. And that's how you met them. You know, that's you. It's not somebody you knew before that, and you guys are, you know, it's their main focus. So I've met a lot of artists through Grind Mode that push my pen game, and that also push my grind. You know, that make you want to keep new content coming out because you see other people doing that, and you see that, you know, that's a possibility. Number one, and number two, that it gets a good reaction and a good you know, from the fans and the people that are watching. It gets a good interaction, I would say.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I've gotten to hear a lot of great artists myself, and we have both had the honor of having a lot of these artists on our podcast, such as Tayamu Danku. We've been in close talks with Sean Crutch. We're about to get him on a show for season 2. And yeah, we've had Mickey Bourbon on the show. Yeah,
Benny Hanna last episode, you know, and it really goes, it's crazy because to think if Grind Mode would have start back when I was younger, like I'm only 33, I could imagine if it would have started when I was like 7, like the impact it would have had now. If there was that opportunity that they provide, you know, it's an amazing thing to have people who are like, yeah, we want to invite the hip hop community. And then to also have people, like you said, that can push you and challenge you in such positive ways. Usually people have to pay out the ass for something like that. Yeah. And they're just saying, we have our business, of course, but at the end of it, you know, like what is put forth is just a beautiful thing, as we see almost in every cypher.
Yeah, man. And they're super supportive, man. And when people come in, you know, I think, you know, a lot of people, sometimes they're worried about how you submit and how you get involved and stuff. And really it's just taking a step, man, reaching out, saying you want to get on one, you know, if you follow Grind Mode to see the ciphers, then you always get the information through Facebook about when the next ones are going to be, if you're an artist, you know, or if, you know, tag somebody. But, you know, even then, sometimes it gets lost in the sauce, man. And sometimes people think it's something you're doing because you're able to, but they might not be able to. And that's why I've been trying to really like gather people in Maryland, because, you know, not only do I want there to be more representation of the state that I'm in, and I know there's more talent out here, but also, you know, artists should know, if you really want to get Grind Mode to start doing a Cypher series in your home state or area, then the more artists you get to do Grind Mode Cyphers from that area, the more likely they're going to want to just say, well, hell, we already got this many people in that area, so if we traveled there and then we, you know, shout out and say, hey, we're doing some auditions for other people that want to hop on it, they already know they got a core group where they can knock out, you know, a series worth. You know, people should notice when the Soda City comes out, there's volume, because, you know, they do 5 to 8 ciphers or so, whatever they can fit in, depending on how many people get on at that series. So the more people you get on, the bigger it gets. And then next year they try to come back to that same place. So, you know, that's what I'm hoping. I'm going to get a Maryland series set up so that there's a time where Grind Mode can come down and party in my area. I travel out of the area a lot to go where they're going, and I don't mind it. It's a way for me to see other places and stuff. But, you know, we always say, and I mentioned this on the Behind the Grind that I did with Trip B and Johnny Concepts, that when people come to the ciphers for the first maybe 2 or 3 ciphers they do, especially if they're coming by themselves and they're not coming with like somebody who's already been there a few times, it's kind of a blur. You get in there, you're like, oh shit, what do we got to do? Okay, boom, 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 it's done. And then everybody's kind of starts dispersing, and they don't realize like those people are grouping up and going places. Like they've already kind of networked at other events, and now they've got like other plans for in that city while we're there. And if you don't know that, you kind of feel like, damn, the cipher was cool, but all I did was go there and record the cipher, and then I went back home to my home city. But now when we go, you know, we post up in that city for 3 days with them. We usually get the same hotel. So Grind Mode has become way more of a family for the people who are showing up to series after series, because we're camping at the same hotels. We're eating at the same restaurants a lot of times in these cities, and we're getting people for the you know, behind us in certain videos that we're shooting out of state because we're in a different place. So it's just blossoming into something more. And you guys see that every month they add on a new thing a new layer that can be, you know, benefit the artists and stuff. So yeah, man, I don't have nothing bad to say about it. And I think it's, I always tell everybody, I think it has a lot to do with the growth on my channels and my social medias and stuff in the last couple years, especially. And a lot of people have found me through the ciphers. I already reached my wave with my music, you know, through my friends and family in my local area. And I'm reaching those people through shows. But, you know, even the shows that I can't sit here and pretend that my shows that I'm performing on a local level are having 60,000+ subscribers hearing what I'm saying. So, you know, it's a blessing to be on a platform like that, where these guys are willing to share what they've built up with somebody who, you know, just is looking for a platform to express their self and hopefully like bring people in. And I tell everybody, you know, Grind Mode as a platform is exactly what you put into it. If you do more ciphers, you're going to be seen more times. Boom. Yeah. If you put your pen to work on those ciphers and you make a bar that stands out, just one really, really heavy bar that stands out to people when they get done those 5 or so artists, and they can remember, damn, that one guy, that line he said, it was funny, or it was shocking, or it was really dope, like thought out, whatever it is that you got to find. That's how you're going to pull in these people from all around the world that are hearing that and have them come and add you on your social media. So, you know, it is a good platform for people, but it's also, it's a very competitive, like you're on these ciphers with people who spit, and you don't want to be a guy who's getting lost in the shuffle because there's so many dope spitters around you. You don't want to feel normal, you know what I mean? So I think there's a competitive angle in it right there. That's a friendly competitiveness. That's like, I want to try to kill these guys on this cipher, but the way they write is the reason I want to kill them, because I know they're writing some killer shit, you know? And,
right.
I think that there's certain people who stand out to different people, but the more you're on it, the more chance you're going to get for that. And there's a lot of people that we've seen that have grown from their first couple ciphers through their, you can see style changes and different. And a lot of people don't know this part, which I think is the dopest part. You don't pick the beat. So whatever cipher you're on, you didn't get to pick that beat. You didn't get to say, yo, Lingo, that's a dope beat. I want on that one. Nah, you get what you get. And it's like they want to see and you want to see. What can you do with that?
Yeah, the sink or swim.
That's dope to me. That's one of the most hip hop aspects of the whole cipher thing to me, is that you're being challenged on a beat that, as a writer, I could go through beats all night and hundreds of them and might just find one beat, that really catches me that I'll write to. But when you get your cipher beat, you better come up with something tight to that. You're not going to be like, man, I don't like this beat, man. Who gives a shit, man? You still don't want to be, the last of the litter.
Right. Yeah. Don't be that guy.
Yeah.
Don't be that guy.
Yeah, exactly.
No, and you really are. You are correct about that. There is a handful of people that are affiliates that I've really noticed a lot of growth from each cipher. I wanted to note that I have also noticed that with at least 7 individuals off the top of my head, and I know it's not just them alone, but
but the ones that you see the most, it's hard for people to gauge you off of one. And so anybody who does just one cipher, it's dope that they did one cipher, but they didn't do themselves justice. They didn't get to pick the beat, so they didn't get to show off their skill on their type of beat probably. So they need a couple ciphers before people can really see like, oh man, this person's consistent, And that's what's dope. And that's why people's names stick in your brain, because consistency, Are they on more content, or did they do really good one day, like 3, 4, 5 years ago on a cipher? And, that's what I learned. So my first cipher may have been around 2016, 2015, 2016. And that cipher to this day has about 5,000 views on it. Yeah. And the new ciphers get that in the first day, so to me, that's a big difference. Like if you did a cipher a while back, and you're like, I got a cipher on there with them. They know what I'm about. Yeah. But the eyes that are seeing it, the people that it's getting in front of now it's 8 times, 10 times more than it used to be. And it happens in the first 30 days. And that's why I think, I know for a fact that the majority of my views, the most eyes that I've been in front of, especially on videos, is Grind Mode, through Grind Mode. And they're not Grind Mode may be based out of New England, out of, Rhode Island, Massachusetts area, like that area, general area. But the people whose eyes you get in front of, man, it's all kinds of countries. It's crazy. It's a lot of countries. So it's definitely a global thing that they have going on. And, I think that's why when I get on there, I don't want to have like a verse. You only got to do 16. Yeah. I don't want to have a verse where I'm like, oh man, I shouldn't have put that one on there. I should have came with something different, because by the time you're thinking that, 60,000 motherfuckers already seen it and they're already sharing it. And if you didn't come correct, they're going to mention you in the comments, man. We know in hip hop, we got a tough audience.
Yeah.
And they're willing to tell you, man, I am not feeling that. That's not it. And who am I to tell them if that's their opinion, man? I'm looking for their feedback. And if their feedback is not great, I still need it. So, but yeah, that's why I try to come correct on there. And my feedback this year has been great. I feel like I did just as good on my early ciphers, but there wasn't as many eyes. So I didn't see all this interaction and comments and stuff, but I try to take advantage of it. I interact with those people and the comments. I'm not too good. I'm just like them. I just rhyme and I try to let them know I got more shit on my channel, like, come with me and see what else I got. Some of the people that get on there, if they just are on the cipher, it dropped, they share it the first day and they're done with it. I try to share it other places and then after it kind of plateaus a little bit, chop that out and start sharing pieces of it other places and stuff like that. And what I plan to do, so you guys said, you know, I went to a lot of series. I probably don't even remember them all, but I went to Jacksonville, went to North and South Carolina, Brooklyn, Dallas, and Oklahoma, New Hampshire, upstate New York, Bars of the Barbecue at Lingo's place. So we went, that's just this year. And what I plan to do is at the end of the year, I'm so used to seeing these video countdowns and stuff as I was growing up on like MTV, Top 100 Countdown and all that. I'm going to do like a countdown where I'm going to number my Cypher verses in the order that I think they're getting to the best, you know, worst to best. Not that I think there's a worst, but that my least favorite to favorite, and do a countdown. So I think there's going to be like 15 Cyphers that I did this year, which is crazy because it probably took me like 5 years to get my first 13 Cyphers done. And now I've done like 15 or 16 in 1 year. So, you know, it's depends how life's going at that time. And if you have the time and ability to get around to those places. But this year I was able to, and I wanted to take advantage of it. And it's, in my eyes, man, it seemed to work out. A lot of people are telling me they're seeing it, they're noticing it, you know, they're seeing my face everywhere, and I'm making it a little bit harder for them to forget me.
Yeah, you've definitely been working this year. You've been doing shows, you've been doing the Cyphers, and you've been releasing music. You just re-released, talking about going back to your roots, you just re-released one of your older projects from 2008, the Rebirth project.
Yeah.
You talk about the remastered Rebirth.
Yeah, so what that was the Rebirth. I started going through, and I've actually been talking to people in my like the fan group and stuff for over the course of this year about doing like a box set type of release that has like some older stuff that's not released online or anything like that. Like when I first started coming up, it was a very hand-to-hand industry. You know, you burned your music that you made onto CDs, and you kept CDs with you everywhere you went, every show, and you tried to sell them or pass them out for people. And that, you know, it was pre-stream, SoundCloud. You know, you might have had a MySpace or something, but around the MySpace ending and then Facebook kind of taking over, it kind of removed that having 10 songs on your profile for people to see and all that, or whatever. So it kind of like separated music from the person again. So
back in the CD era.
Yeah, exactly. So I have so many. I mean, people would probably think it's ridiculous how many CDs I have, probably like 30 or something, like unreleased CDs from that era. So I started going through my hard drive, and I was like, you know what? If I was a fan of somebody, and like, and my fans are real fans, because I'm not on TV, I'm not, you know, on the radio, I'm not being told to them that I'm who they should be a fan of. So anybody who listens to my music and likes it and is a fan of it, they're a genuine fan. They decided that on their own with no suggestive programming or anything like that. So, you know, I was thinking, if I was a fan like that of an artist, I would love for them to release everything that they have before a day comes where they can't. You know, like, it would suck if somebody passes away and who knows what they have left that they could have released and that the fans could have like loved and enjoyed. And it's probably sitting in a vault somewhere on a hard drive that somebody might not even know how to get to. So I started saying, look, man, I'm going to do nostalgia. Since it's old music, I'm going to get like the cassette tape that you can have the thumb drive stick out of it for the flash drive. Put like 16 gigs, and I want to put every CD that I used to be on, all the unreleased music, features, the videos, Grind Mode Cyphers that I've done, and music videos that I've put out, everything from 2006 until 2021, and call it 15 years of knowledge.
Yeah,
and,
I was actually going to ask you about that, because I noticed that when I was going through the Rebirth project, is that you were going to do a box set.
Yeah. So when I was going through all the music for that and making sure that I have it all in the best quality I can possibly provide, digging up old session files and seeing if I could get them opened and remixed and stuff, I realized that like I remember the impact that Rebirth made when I dropped it. And it was just it was like a celebration feel when people got it, because they were just feeling like, man, you're really like, you know, this is sounding official. And at that time, honestly, it was a crazy time in my life. I was recording on the SOCOM headset for the PlayStation 2, plug it right into the laptop in the USB, and I would move like the mouthpiece up above my mouth, like near my eye, so that there wouldn't be a pop from the P's and the B's and stuff like this. I mean, it was any means necessary back then.
Yeah.
So when I started going through it and realizing, I was like, man, some of these songs I like so much on Rebirth, I want to hear them in my new studio, like on my new mic with the engineer I have now. Everything was raw back then. So that's what I did, is I handpicked a couple tracks. I think I picked 9. I recorded 9 tracks, and then 2 of them I just felt like didn't age as well as the others. So I think it's 7 tracks that I released. But yeah, man, that was like there was a time period there where a lot of artists back in the day were using SoundClick to get their beats off of. So it has that nostalgia to the producers that a lot of people in my circle saw those names on the tracks as I was releasing them and promoting them. And they were like, man, you're bringing me back with this Mr. K.A. and King Kong Productions and this Emotional and just all these different like people that they remember from the SoundClick days. And that's what
I remember those guys.
Yeah, man. I was using them heavy back in the day, and you know, not taking anything from them. That's not like they're like SoundClick producers. Those are real producers that just were using that platform, and that's how we all found them. And I was grateful, man.
I mean, look at Anno Domini now. You know, like I remember I remember Anno Domini when people just used to shit on him back in the day, right? And now he's like a multi-million-dollar producer, right?
I love it. I love seeing his blow up. I mean, Adrian, he's dope, man. I'll consider him, you know, a friend that I don't know very well, but I know through this and stuff, and that's really dope. And what I always loved about Anno was I felt like you probably remember there was a time when the SoundClick beats, there was so much different sound, and then all of a sudden one year they all started to sound like T-Pain type of beats. Every single producer in there started following this same sound, except Anno. And like that group of producers with Anno, Verbal, and
Anno, Danson, Epistra, all those guys, like
guys, they stuck by their guns, and they did like Jedi mind trick sounding beats that were like for us, the underground, like the type of stuff that got me really like pumped up. So I used Anno a lot coming up, and it was crazy because a lot of people in my area heard of Anno Domini from the projects that I was putting out. But then as they started seeing me sharing other people's projects now, like that I'm working with Grind Mode and stuff, they would start to say, wow, like they thought that I put these people on to like Anno. They're like, you introduce them to your producer? And I'm like, nah, you don't understand, man. This guy is like really popular in the underground, and it's not a one producer. It's like a coalition of producers that all push under that umbrella, and they all have different unique sounds, but it fits like exactly the stuff that underground rappers love.
Straight up.
But yeah, it's dope, man. Every time, like I can kind of tell who's been in it for a while when they look at that track list for the Rebirth, and they, as soon as they see the producers and the names, they're like, oh, like, are you serious? And then I'm like, yeah, I mean, the tracks are dope still. They were written in 2007. It was released on New Year's Eve 2000 or New Year's Day 2008. So the quality of those original recordings wasn't great, and it was one that I just was like, man, before I drop this box set, let me like handpick like my favorite project out of there, and I'll release it like in good quality. So yeah, man, Rebirth was a fun one to put out, and I look forward to hopefully putting some music videos together for some of those songs in the future.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I still got Mr. K beats in the vault, and I used to download a couple emotional beats back in the day. So, and Too Toxic too. I seen you got Too Toxic on there, so I remembered all those guys when I was going through the project. So that was dope. On the Axe Mode podcast, we like to do a special segment. My co-host, Mr. East, he's kind of a wild card sometimes, so we like to give our guests mysteries from Mr. East. So Mr. East likes to come up with a random question to ask our artist, kind of put you on the hot spot there. So Mr. East, why don't you give knowledge?
All right. I want to know, what is the wildest thing that has happened to you road tripping by yourself to a cypher?
By myself?
Yeah.
It wasn't by myself. It was.
All right, let's hear it anyways.
It was with this is great. Oh, he's gonna love this. It was with LJ Heist, my partner in Rebelz Advakit. And this was my 4th cypher that I did. And it was Grind Mode Cypher with my song at Third Eye Open.
Yes.
In Massachusetts, Rehoboth. I think it was Bedford, New Bedford, Massachusetts. So from where I live in Maryland, this ride was I said it was 7.5 hours one way, and so I didn't want to make that ride by myself. I'm like, I already got this locked in. I don't have a lot of time. And it was, like I said, this was my 4th cypher. I told you guys, when people are like 2 or 3 ciphers in, they don't really know that Grind Mode's probably going to be in that city for the night. You know, maybe get a room there and see what they're doing and group up and whatever. I wasn't that tight with everybody yet. I knew who a couple people were, and I knew I was about my grind, and I liked what they were doing. So I asked my boy LJ Heist, I'm like, yo, I got this cypher in Mass, and it's a 7.5 hour ride, man. You feel like riding with me just to keep company and shit. And, you know, it's with my song. He's going to be doing a set there, I think, and all this. And he was like, fuck yeah, man, I'm down. So we hop in the car, and we go up there. And now, you know, me personally, I'm a smoker. I'm not a drinker. So, and then ever since I've been young, I've been very strict that I don't smoke in my car, because it's just kind of dumb. I've seen a lot of people get in trouble with that. So I tend to eat edibles before I go on a road trip if I can, because it keep me mellow for, you know, the trip. And if I can have some with me for the ride back, then that's awesome too. So this ride took, it said it was 7.5 hours, and I was supposed to get there like an hour before the cypher. I literally got there like as they're prepping up for the last cypher with my song, and I didn't have really any time. The whole ride up there, I was rehearsing my verse. For some reason, I could not fucking remember the verse. I had so much shit going on, and I was excited to be on the cypher with my song. So we get up there just in time to park, run in there, knock the cypher out. I've been off of these fucking gummy bears and gummy worms and probably like, you know, edible cookies for the whole ride up and stuff. And Heist didn't have any. He didn't really smoke. He doesn't really smoke like that, like I do. We knocked out the cypher, chilled for a part of the show, and then we went somewhere in New Bedford and got some dinner at a nice place out there. And then we, like, just to save and not get a hotel room, I was like, fuck it, man. Like, I'll just drive back now as far as I can. If I get tired on the way, I'll pull into a rest stop, take a half hour. So when we get to the car from the restaurant, about to head back, I'm in the trunk like this, and I'm grabbing out some gummy worms, right? And he's like looking around like, what's that? What you got there? And I was like, oh, just some gummy worms. And he's like, oh, well, I'm trying to get a gummy worm. And like from the ride up, they've been in the car in the trunk the whole time. They like melted together. So they were like stuck together. And when you tried to peel them off, they were like 2 gummy worms. And like one gummy worm was 5 gummy bears. And this motherfucker was not smoking like that. So it pulled off as 2. He ate the joint, right? and it's just a little double gummy worm. We get in the car and we're on the road. We're on the highway pretty quick. We're cutting down. We're out of Massachusetts right into Rhode Island. All of a sudden, he's telling me, he's like, oh, man. He's like, I think I'm having like a panic attack or something. I was like, nah, you're good, dog. You're good. There's nothing wrong. It's just probably the edibles, dog. They're going to hit you tough. I was like, just lean your seat back, man, and relax. We got hours. We got like 6 or 7 hours to go still. So then he's like still kind of like he's like breathing, he's huffing and puffing and stuff, and then he's like, I think I need you to pull over. As soon as he said that, I'm right to the side. I pulled over.
Not my car.
Yeah, I pulled over, and then he pops the door open. He earls on the side of the road. I'm thinking like, good, now we're ready to go. You know, like we're in the clear. And then he gets done, and then he's telling me like he's worked up. He thinks his heart's racing, and I don't like to downplay that shit or nothing, but I just knew what it was from. So I was like, damn, man, like, and then he's like, I don't know what's going on. It just feels like something's wrong with me. Something's just, it's not right. And I was like, listen, dog. I said, what we're not going to do is we're not going to go to the hospital out here in Rhode Island while I still have more edibles in the trunk and tell them that you ate edibles and that you don't feel good and spend our fucking night at the hospital in Rhode Island. And then I still have to drive home in the morning. Oh, so what we are going to do is I'm going to drive your ass back down to Maryland. And if you still feel this way when we get there, then I'll take you to the hospital. How's that sound? And then he's like still over there stressing out. Yo, he told me, you got to pull off somewhere, man. I got to get a drink somewhere. So I had to pull off of the highway somewhere random in fucking Rhode Island so he could go in there and get a Long Island and pound it down real quick so that he could try to calm his nerves and shit. And then he gets back into the car and he's telling me how he can't believe this gummy worm stole his soul and put him down like this and all this shit. But that's become one of those things now, like where anytime there's like an edible mention or anything like that, he's almost like, nah, man. You didn't hear about the fucking gummy worm that shitted on me on the way down the road. And it was bad, but eventually he did just pass out in the seat after we had to stop and pull over and wait at the bar while he went in and all that. I'm like, dog, it's some candy, dog. It was just some candy. You're going to live.
Hell yeah. So shout out to LJ Heist. You'll hear more about him in a little bit here. But before we get to your new project coming up that is a road trip in itself, I just wanted to mention, if you are watching live with us right now, drop a hashtag GME in the comment section right now, and I will personally send you a Grind Mode Cypher sticker pack. That's a hashtag GME in the comments for a Grind Mode Cypher sticker pack.
Do it. It's free.
Bang, bang.
Bang, bang. So let's get right into it. You've got a brand new project coming out November 26th with Mischief called A Road Trip Lyrical Route, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
We're actually about to release the cover artwork for that on all platforms this weekend. But yeah, what the road trip is me and Mischief. So Mischief is the one that got me involved with Grind Mode Cypher. He had a show with Windchill, an affiliate with Grind Mode, up in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and it was called Pennsylvania Part 2. And it was supposed to have Sean Price as a headliner, and unfortunately, Sean Price passed away like within a month before that show. So then, you know, instead of it being a show, a P show, it was a RIP show, and that show right there, that was my first Grind Mode Cypher. I did Pennsylvania Volume 1 or Volume 2, I forget which one I was on, but Lingo, AOK, some of the universal language cats. I forget who all was on it, but it was my first one. It's been a long time ago. But so me and him have been traveling around to a lot of these ciphers since the beginning ones that I've been on. And what we realized was, you know, we are doing the Grind Mode Cyphers Um, but the ciphers itself is not the end goal, you know, and the end goal changes a lot, but it's not just getting on the platform and making an impact, or like I don't know what the word would be, but like you guys noticed something from the cipher, and you know, you say, oh man, that's pretty dope. I wonder what else there is. And if you go to look for something else and there's nothing else there, man, that's a huge missed opportunity. And at the same time, if you're traveling like the way that me and Mischief and like the other people I named, LJ Heiss, 3XG, these people, like if you're traveling from your home state to somewhere else, like different, and you're doing music, you're traveling out there to do a music video with Grind Mode, but you should also be doing music videos of your own. And it's great to do them in areas where you don't live. So the people in your town and stuff, they can't be like, oh man, I know where that's at. So this person and that person shot a video over there before, you know, or whatever. So you're going to different places. And we both agreed, like, let's just take full advantage of this. We're meeting up with groups of artists that we fuck with, that we want to work with. And we could be doing videos with these people if we had songs with them. So why don't we do a project that takes advantage of us being on the road, tripping to all these places all the time with these cats. And then we basically handpicked a bunch of folks that we wanted to work with, that we were willing to work with. And some of those people were able to get back to us quick enough with their verse or hook or whatever it was that they were able to do with us. We used some Lingo production from the 2 beat packs that he dropped, the one at Christmas and the one in May. We used different productions from those 2 packs, and then we used some production from my in-house producer, Go KP Beats, and then we got one guest spot from affiliate Rick Resin, who we linked up with him in Manhattan, recorded a couple tracks in his studio, shot some video right there, and we were literally on our way to a show in Connecticut. So that's how we try to do it. We know these people. We're seeing, where are you located? Okay, can we meet up with you and shoot a video there? Or can we meet up in your studio and record together so the vibe is good? And it brought us a lot closer with a lot of the affiliates, but it also made to where we could take advantage of these trips. And so, you know, while a lot of people know, like, they've heard, oh, wow, this Road Trip project is coming out. The Road Trip is an album. And I feel like from the cover artwork, which I got hand-drawn by a homie, Ray Wade, a friend of mine in Maryland, all the way down to the beats that we selected and the artists that we selected to go on each beat. I think that when you guys hear these, I heard you mention that you had Denku on here. When you hear the track, the beat that we got Denku on, you're going to be like, there's no better affiliate we could have got on that beat than Denku. And then it's like that with every affiliate on all the beats. And then at the same time, me and Mischief firmly believe that we got the best out of every affiliate. Everybody who got on there really, really, really gave their effort and came with their best. So not only did we mesh people on the right beats, but they complemented it perfectly with like really coming with really solid work. But so people know that work is coming, but they didn't realize that at Upstate Underground, we shot 3 music videos for that. We shot one with Frankie V and Mickey Bourbon and Lingo. We shot one with Friday Goodish. We shot one with Rick Resin up there. You know, when we were in New Hampshire for the Tour for Life, we shot videos up there when we were with them. So we are finding out who is going to what Cypher series and setting up to record our video for the track that we already have for them there. So this project's going to drop, but then you're going to constantly be fed another video off of the project to keep reminding and putting it in front of everybody's face, because we already have like 8 to 10 videos done already. That's the thing. This came together in the amount of time it took some people to get their verse back. We were able to already finish off videos with other people. The video we plan to drop with the project is for a song called Ice Cold. It's on a beat from Lingo. from his pack. And
I think I know what beat you're talking about.
And it's called Ice Cold.
Yeah.
Yep. And it features the Barrio Brothers, so it has Trip B and Johnny Concepts on it, and we shot a video for that in Providence, Rhode Island. The next day after we went up for that Connecticut show, then after that show we went and stayed in Rhode Island. So we woke up in the same city with John Con and Trip B, and we were able to link up with them, shoot that. And then Lingo happened to be shooting a video for a Snow Goons track that same day, so we hopped in and made a quick cameo in his video. So we're trying to be everywhere, and that's what we're doing. And that's why we thought Road Trip was the perfect way to take advantage of all these people we're meeting and trying to put something together that shows that we're trying to still do more, not just the Cyphers. We want the Cyphers to be means to connect you with what else we're doing and all these other projects and stuff like that. And I think a lot of affiliates are doing that, and that's how we kind of find their stuff. But I just wanted to repeat it I know some affiliates are going to watch this and see, and I just want them to know, like, you know, there's so much opportunity there, and you don't want to, like, later on be like, damn, you know, I should have dropped something sooner while I was putting my face in front of everybody, because it's a great opportunity.
Yeah, for real. So you were talking about Mickey Bourbon earlier. You and Mischief dropped a track earlier with Mickey Bourbon called Miss Me With That, right?
Yes, sir.
Is that going to be on the new project?
So that's not going to be on our project. I actually believe that's going to be on Mickey's project, unless it's just a single. I don't fully know, but I do know that. So we like to work like that in person with people. You get a good vibe. You get a lot of stuff done. It's just like being on the phone rather than text. You're on the same page. You know what you're talking about. Your vibe is it's a lot of energy kicking back and forth. So a couple weeks ago, Frankie V and Mickey Bourbon from Rockasset, they drove down from New Jersey, and LJ Heist came over, Mischief came over, and we rocked out like a whole CD that day. And then we did a show that night in my hometown, and then they headed back home the next day. So it could be on that coming up, because we got a whole track list of songs that we did that day that are between me, Mischief, Mickey Bourbon, and Frankie V. And we don't even know the name of that project yet. It's just going to be like a joint collaboration project between Mickey Bourbon, basically Rockasset, Rebelz Advakit, and Mischief, like encompassing that. So, and when they were here for that, we shot a video for Miss Me With That. So even though that song dropped already, that's kind of just to get people aware and listen, and it's dope. And then we're going to drop the video on them for that too, as soon as it's done being edited and stuff. And another dope ass point about that song is I can't remember the name of the producer right now for that without looking at the Stu Banger's son. So I think it's Young Bangers.
Young Bangers, yeah.
So he's 10 years old. The producer for that beat is crazy. And it's a gutter, grimy, awesome beat. So to be that young and be able to produce like that, I think this kid has some great potential for big things ahead of him.
Yeah, speaking of gutter and grimy, you also had another track with Mickey Bourbon drop today with 3XG Spitz as well, called Escalator Style.
That's correct, yes. And that probably dropped while we've been on the
It actually dropped just a couple hours before we went live, so
there you go.
Go check that out on the Knowledge is Hip Hop YouTube channel. Everything for me is easy to find on the YouTube channel Knowledge is Hip Hop. If you search that, I have the homepage set up to where all my ciphers are in one line, and music videos in one line, and then features and like singles and stuff. So it'll be in there. You can find it also on any distribution or streaming platform you can save it on. And that one has 3XG Spitz, Mickey Bourbon, and myself, and then it's got a little a classic Biggie sample layered on the hook there for people, so give you a good feel. That's super dope. Yeah, man, Mickey. I just want to shout out Mickey Bourbon.
another person who I think has been using his appearances recently on the Cyphers to push his like everything music related in his life. And you see a lot of stuff coming out of that corner now, from music to logos to merch lines to, you know, new label and then artists and stuff that he has under there, pushing freestyles from them and stuff like that. And it's so dope, man. He's doing a lot for not only for himself but for other people in his area now. So I think that's a salute to Mickey Bourbon, and definitely check out the merch lines that he has coming out, and he's got some dope stuff.
Hell yeah. So I just wanted to touch back on your group, Rebelz Advakit. Why don't you let the people know how Rebelz Advakit came about, and what's the plan for Rebelz Advakit moving forward?
So Rebelz Advakit is me and my boy LJ Heiss. If you see the logo right here on the hat, the logo appears to be half gas mask on the left side, and then half like Guy Fawkes on the other side from V for Vendetta. He has like a couple changes to him, like the lines under the eyes, like the football lines and stuff. But so what that logo came from was like Heiss was using the V for Vendetta mask a lot of times as like a prop when we went up on stage and stuff like that, because, you know, we just have kind of like some views that steer toward like that anonymous feel, like against some, you know, government regulations and different things or whatever. And the gas mask thing was something that I used on a CD cover for the Swarm that I dropped, which was like my first real studio album that I did with Go KP. But the where that picture came from of me wearing the gas mask was me and LJ Heiss used to rap with a group of people that we were affiliated with in Maryland that went by the Coalition 301. 301 is a Maryland area code, and it was a coalition of artists that were from different camps that had different, you know, groups that they represented or whatever. But we got together because one of the artists, Trust Real, was who reached out to me, and he had reached out to a bunch of other people in the area. And it was a point in time where, I don't know if you remember, like for people in the US, it was a time where they were starting to do like county ciphers. So first it would be like this state cipher, or it would be this state, that county, whatever cipher. And they would pick like 5 or 7 people. And this was like before I knew anything about a grind mode cipher or any kind of real ciphers like that. This was just people that were jumping on this bandwagon. It was like a trend that was happening kind of after Jay-Z and Alicia Keys did that song, and everybody was like doing their version of it or whatever. So, but none of them were real lyrical, and not to take anything away from the people or what they were doing.
Was that New York you're referencing to?
Yeah, it was like that. Remember how that became a thing, like a hype thing for each people from their town was doing it. This followed that up a little bit, but this was not based off of a certain song or beat, but it was people trying to represent their city by showcasing a couple people that were on it. So they would jump together and do basically a music video of like 5 people. Well, we didn't think any of the ones we saw that represented Maryland were like lyrical at all. And so when Trust Real handpicked and reached out to like, it was like 10 to 13 of us and said, yo, why don't we do a cipher where we showed these motherfuckers that there's some real spitters out here. Not like this flashy trap swag music, but like real spitters. So we grouped up and we did a track and we called it The Lineup. And we shot a video for this, and it was like everybody did 8 bars. And while we were waiting for the music video to come out, it was taking so long that we all realized that like, yo, we have some chemistry here together. Let's like do some more music. So Kat started doing a track here, a track there, and it ended up becoming a mixtape. So we dropped a mixtape under the Coalition name, and it was awesome. And it was really received good. Like it was like it had some momentum behind it and people were feeling it. And then we went and like did a photo shoot where everybody dressed in a suit, black suit, white shirt underneath it with a tie. And then they put a different kind of mask on and had a different kind of weapon. So you might have an AK or some kind of like tall ass like stick that had a big ass like blade on the end of it. I don't know. Everybody had different weapons, and it was a crazy ass photo shoot. It looked like a Halloween movie was going to come out or something. And
sounds
so,
pretty wild.
That's where I had the gas mask on, and that with the AR-15 in the picture. And so the logo came from the coalition. Only ended up doing one more mixtape. And, you know, when you have 10 to 13 people working on a project together and stuff that are doing their own music, and they don't want to overshadow their own brands, and or some people, you know, you're having a kid, you got with this girl, you moved, like different things happen for a lot of reasons for the different people. It was hard to keep the momentum going. So when me and Heist, we got together and we did a song, and we realized, like, yo, our chemistry is right there, right where we needed to be. And so we started working on some more music together. And then we realized, like, you know, we should come up with a name that represents the two of us doing music together, instead of it being like kind of like how the road trip's going to be, Knowledge and Mischief, you know, road trip. And that's fine. That's cool. We may do more road trips in the future. But if we were going to do like a ton of CDs together and shows together and stuff, we may want to brand ourselves as like as a group. More so than just being two individuals. And not only that, having a name like Knowledge, I'll be honest with you, there's like 30 or 50 knowledges. It's really hard to find me. You have to type Knowledge as hip hop with no spaces if you want to really find me outside of the other knowledges. So Rebelz Advakit, being a play on words, Devil's Advocate, Rebelz Advakit. We're like rebellious about the stuff we talk about and standing by our guns on being like lyrical and not like basically selling out to like a swaggy feel type of music. And then spelling it differently made it to where people can literally find it first try. You type in Rebelz Advakit. We have Rebelz Advakit, the Twitter, the Instagram, the Facebook, the .com. Everything's Rebelz Advakit. It wasn't taken already. We don't got to put a number after it, you know. So it worked out perfect. But it was because me and him came from a group of cats that were spitting the fuck out down here. Like, people loved it. They were saying we were like the Maryland Wu-Tang, and people were really behind it. It was love, man. And we didn't want that to completely die when everybody else wasn't able to work on shit. So that's where Rebelz Advakit was born. We ended up doing our first album, 21 Grams. You know, we dropped that, I think it was in 2017. And it is really received well. We have a good chemistry. People like us two on tracks. And the beats and stuff on that was a lot of Go KP and a lot of Anno Domini. You know, a ton of Anno Domini beats on there. And so that's dope, man. Me and him, we have a new album coming out probably this year, coming up early in the beginning of the year. It's going to be called Sector. And then it seems like kind of like the way we work is keep making songs, keep making songs, keep making songs, then pick the best ones out and make that the album. And then the other songs tend to make it onto a mixtape. Yeah. Last time we did one called Devil's Rejects, and we put everything that didn't make it onto this 21 Grams album onto that mixtape. So when we drop this Sector album, I can already tell that we're going to have like a whole CD full of songs that didn't make it. Not that they're not good, but we like a theme feel, and we like no fat or extra food on that album. We want it to be exactly what people want it to be. And I know that people's attention span is way different now. So you can't have any filler. You can't have much, you know. But real quick, going back, because that makes me think, going back to Road Trip, it's crazy because I've been a firm believer in like 10 tracks or less, like for the last couple years. Yo, this CD coming out has 17 songs on it. Hey, and I'm here to tell you that every single one of them, there's no skippable track on this CD. And that's why I feel so good about it. I feel like it shows my most versatility of any album I've ever been on, because there's so many different styles and stuff. But we went out on a limb and said, this one's so good, let's just put it all out together. There's nothing, we can't cut anything off of this. and it's not going to be too long for anybody. I can promise. And it's rare. And I haven't been able to do that for any of my other projects for years and years and years. But we do have a long one coming out, and I think nobody will feel like it's too long or there's any filler. Nothing is filler on this whole project.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I've got a homie that I work with that I kind of work with on similar terms that you work with LJ there. It's pretty dope. You know, there's a lot of recording and work that goes into doing a project like that. You know, you record a bunch of songs and then you kind of have to narrow it down into a feeling, and yeah, it's dope working that way. But Mystery, we don't want to keep you too long. Mysteries, do you have any closing?
Go do his thing.
Yeah, Mysteries, do you have any closing questions before we wrap it up?
Oh man, you got a lot of information, man. I'm definitely gonna have to keep tuning into more of your music. Absolutely, we're gonna have to bring you back on. I have a ton of questions right now. We could probably spend another hour with the questions that I have. I'm gonna have to bring you on here with your homie.
Right.
Yeah, he's down, man. I could just schedule that a couple of days ahead of time, and he'd be down. And I don't know if you guys are able to like make it to where there's like 2 tiles here, or if we'd have to be in the same one, but we can make it work either way.
Yeah, okay. we can add an extra tile. That we can have a lot of people on here if we need to. So yeah, we'd love to have you and your homie on. So yeah, make sure to stay tuned to Knowledge's Hip Hop, the YouTube channel. And for all of Knowledge's updates, make sure to hit up his website, knowledgeshiphop.com. I will put up a link right here so y'all can check it out. knowledgeshiphop.com. Hit up the website. You will see all of the Rebelz Advakit updates, all of Knowledge, his updates. You will see the album Knowledge Rebirth remastered on there for you to check out, and all of his older music you can check out right on that website right there. So make sure to hit it up. Thank you, Knowledge, for joining us today.
Thank you.
Do you have any closing statements or any exclusive news that you want to let the people know?
I can't think of anything else that we didn't go over, but there will be new Rebelz Advakit album coming out. The road trip is going to be the first thing that comes out. Then we have an EP, Rebelz Advakit and Mischief coming out that we're knocking out, and then you know, myself and Mischief both have solo albums that we're going to be dropping next year. So we're gonna focus on that while you guys are feeding off of this road trip as soon as we drop that. Now, we did set the release date for road trip for Black Friday. I think that's the 26th of November. So we will have it available on Black Friday. And like I said, we do plan to also drop that first video on the same day that we drop that. And that'll be on the Grind Mode Cypher YouTube channel. So, you know, if you subscribe to Knowledge's Hip Hop on YouTube, make sure you also go over and subscribe to the Grind Mode Cypher channel. They drop a lot of content on there for the artists, and I have like an interview on there. I have 20, almost 30 ciphers on there, and I'm in the Sunday night grind every Sunday night in the live chat and stuff when they're doing reactions and stuff like that. So it's a good channel to also subscribe to and be interactive with.
Absolutely. You got to support real hip hop. Remember, all one word, no spaces. Knowledge is hip hop.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, Knowledge, for joining us today. It was an honor to have you on the Axe Mode podcast. We love that you have been working so hard this year. Like, I've seen all the ciphers, I've seen the shows that you've been doing, and the videos that you're working on now that we hear. It's amazing to watch all the growth in your career. Man. So thank you very much for joining us today.
Yep. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you guys, and I'll be back on anytime. Anytime you'll have me.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Salute.
GME, fam. Have a blessed day.
You too.
Yes, sir. So that was Knowledge. He is a Grind Mode Cypher affiliate. He is part of the Rebelz Advakit collective. Make sure to go check out all of their music, Rebelz Advakit and Knowledge's Hip Hop on YouTube. Make sure to go check it all out and subscribe to that Grind Mode Cypher channel if you haven't yet. Battle Axe Global. Battle Axe Global, we've got a few things going on. But one thing we want to highlight especially is the VGHL. It is crazy. If y'all don't know about the VGHL yet, make sure to head over to Facebook, search up Axes Up TV, or search up VGHL underscore official, and you will get all the news and updates from the VGHL. Willie P has recreated NHL 2009. I own a couple teams. Mr. East owns a couple teams. You see Grind Mode Cypher. You see Battle Axe Global. Mr. East, why don't you let the people know a little bit more about VGHL?
All right. So this started about 3 years ago. We're on our third year now, and every year it grows and grows and grows. It's where people come together and promote the teams. And just overall, it started out as something, you know, just to have fun with friends, and then it became into something way more. And here we are into the third year where sticks, pucks, and so much more is flying across the arena. You'll just have to check it out. And if you want to see how it all started, there is also Facebook. We have episodes, well, I like to call episodes since they're up there, of past games. So definitely check them out too. Drop a comment and let us know what you think.
Yes, there will be episodes of past games, and we will be launching a brand new podcast on Thursdays. After we finish up the Throwback Thursday segments on the Axe Mode podcast, we will be launching a brand new podcast with myself, Mr. East, and Willie P, where we take you behind the boards of the VGHL. You'll get to hear the scores, the updates, who's in the games, the highlights of the games. It's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure to tune into that. And make sure to join us this Thursday when we do our very final episode, episode 7 of the Axe Mode podcast Throwback Thursday segment. That was episode 4 of season 2 with our special guest, Knowledge. He joined us. We talked about Rebelz Advakit. We talked about the Grind Mode Cypher series that he was on, how we got involved with Grind Mode Cypher, and we talked about the music that he dropped this year and what he's got coming up. So make sure to join us this Thursday for the final segment of Throwback Thursday, and always next Tuesday at 3:00 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. My name is YT Rhymes. I've joined you from Terrace, BC, Canada, and I'm always with my co-host,
Mr. East from Fox Cities, Wisconsin. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in and grabbing some knowledge. Y'all have a blessed night. Love and peace. Axes up, GME.
Axes up, GME. Peace out, y'all. Much love.